St. Nicholas isn't the only one who visits Alpine villages in early December. He brings a companion, and this one doesn't carry gifts. They call him Krampus. Half goat, half demon, covered in black fur, dragging chains through the snow, looking for children who made the naughty list. And unlike most holiday monsters, he isn't a modern invention wrapped around Christmas for fun. He's older than Christmas itself. The core legend is simple and genuinely unsettling once you sit with it. St. Nicholas rewards good children with gifts. Krampus handles the other half of the job, the children who lied, misbehaved, or ignored their parents all year. According to the tradition, he doesn't just scare them. He beats them lightly with bundles of birch switches he carries in one clawed hand. And for the worst offenders, tradition says something much darker. He stuffs them into the wicker basket strapped to his back and drags them away. Away to his lair in the mountains, or in the darkest versions of the story, straight down to hell itself. Picture the figure described across centuries of Alpine folklore, towering, muscular, covered in matted black fur. Long curling horns like a ram's, a serpent-like tongue lolling from his mouth, cloven hooves instead of feet. Heavy rusted chains wrapped around his body, dragging behind him through the snow with every step, the sound alone said to be enough warning. Here's the detail that makes Krampus genuinely different from most other folklore monsters. He isn't purely evil. He works alongside St. Nicholas, not against him. Together, they represent the same idea from two completely opposite directions. Reward for good behavior, consequence for bad behavior, two sides of exactly the same moral coin. Most folklorists agree Krampus predates Christianity in the Alpine regions entirely, tracing back to pre-Christian winter and pagan tradition. Some connect him to old Germanic and Norse midwinter spirits, horned, wild figures tied to the darkest, coldest part of the year. When Christianity spread across the Alps, the church tried, repeatedly, to stamp this figure out entirely. But instead of disappearing, Krampus got folded directly into the new Christian calendar, paired specifically with St. Nicholas himself. December 5th became known as Krampusnacht, Krampus night, the evening before St. Nicholas Day. That night, in towns across Austria, Bavaria, and other Alpine regions, something remarkable still happens every single year. Dozens, sometimes hundreds of men dress in full Krampus costumes, hand-carved wooden masks, real shaggy fur, heavy iron chains. They flood the streets in a chaotic torchlit procession called a Krampuslauf, literally a Krampus run. It's genuinely intense to witness. Sparks fly, bells clang, birch switches crack through the cold night air. Crowds scream and laugh at the same time, chased playfully through the snow by horned figures taller than most doorways. This isn't some fringe tradition kept alive by a handful of enthusiasts either. It's a massive, mainstream cultural event. Some towns have been running their Krampuslauf continuously for well over a century, passed down through entire family lines of mask carvers. And it survived something that very nearly wiped it out completely. During the 1930s, authoritarian governments across parts of Central Europe actively suppressed the Krampus tradition. It was seen as too pagan, too disorderly, too much a symbol of older folk identity outside centralized control. The masks got hidden away instead of destroyed. Families kept them in attics and cellars, waiting for the tradition to be safe again. And it came back, stronger in many towns than it had ever been before the ban. There's also a printed side to this tradition worth knowing about: Krampuskarten, or Krampus postcards. Starting in the early 1900s, Europeans mailed each other illustrated cards showing Krampus in wildly exaggerated, often darkly comic scenes. Chasing sinners, stuffing children into baskets, even flirting mischievously with adults. Genuinely strange, genuinely popular seasonal mail. So why does a figure this dark keep surviving, generation after generation, instead of fading into obscurity? Partly because fear, used carefully, has always been an effective teaching tool, a vivid image parents could invoke without needing a lecture. Mostly, researchers argue, because Krampus represents something Christmas alone doesn't: balance. Holiday built only on gifts and reward eventually feels hollow. Krampus is the reminder that actions still carry consequences. Today, most children encounter him as festival spectacle rather than genuine terror, a wild, thrilling night, not a real threat lurking outside their window. But if you're ever in the Alps on the 5th of December and you hear chains dragging through the snow behind you, you might want to check your naughty list one more time.